lid. Yep. Got a shovel and a fire extinguisher over there. Just in case I need to suppress the fire inside of here. So we're not normally going to be burning cardboard. This is all slated for recycling, but I want to test it, make sure it works okay. There we go. I'm not even shining on what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll get this lit here. I started to bring a little propane torch. Would light it up a lot faster, right? But it's a little tiny bit of a breeze right now. It's been real still this morning. A bit of a breeze. It'll probably get windy as this afternoon goes. But the idea of this was to keep the ashes contained, the hot ashes contained, the flames contained, so that any ashes leaving the fire would hopefully burn out in the chimney or get stuck in the top there. While that's lighting up, let's just walk around. I sprayed everything down with phosphoric acid so that I'm not planning on painting it. I don't know, I might paint it. But all these welds around here, all phosphoric acid. So this is all bare metal. This is still had mill scale on it, of course, but you can see where I scraped, ground away the edge there so I wouldn't have any mill scale for my welding. And then of course, everywhere there's bare steel, I sprayed phosphoric acid on, including all around this thing. So, okay, starting to burn there a little bit. I think that'll spread to the other boxes, I think. And, you know, I'm not too worried about a complete burn every time. If it doesn't burn first time, the next time I throw stuff in there, it probably will. So, let's close the lid down and see what it does. Burning. Oh yeah. Okay. I can kind of expect a little bit of smoke to come out this edge right here, this seam, because that's not sealed. I could have sealed that from the inside, but I didn't. Okay. So that's good. I don't see any ash coming out. That was my big worry. What would happen? Shouldn't be hot yet. It's not doing too bad. Winds are going to come from the southwest over here, and that's why I set this up this way so that the wind would kind of, I don't know if that's a thing or not, or if it's important or not, but it would kind of keep the air flowing in instead of air being pulled. If this was facing the other way, it might tend to want to pull air that way. I don't know what would happen. I'm not a chimney expert or a burn expert, but that was just an assumption that better airflow from the prevailing southwest winds would help it airflow through it better. So my neighbors a couple miles up the road were burning their trash this morning in a bunch of barrels. They have a bunch of like 6 or 7 burn barrels that they just have lined up, and they just throw their trash in there and then they burn it when it's on a kind of a not a breezy day, not a windy day, kind of breezy just like this. So I don't know that this necessarily gets better combustion and makes less smoke, but I think if the burn chamber is hotter, that has a better chance of more complete combustion, right? Just like a wood stove versus a fireplace. So, and you can, I don't know if it's coming out in the camera, the heat ripples are just coming off the top there like crazy. Feel the heat radiating to me, but this is still cool, so. It's getting down there. Does that say 487? I'm pretty confident, even if the wind picks up, it's not gonna shower sparks everywhere, so let's just see where the chimney's at. 460, 290, 270. Yeah, let's see what this handle is. 120. Yeah, still touchable. And this should be nice and cool here with the intake being here. 101. 88. 40 minutes since I started this. Let's just see how complete the burn was. We'll kind of test everything out here too. You know, I don't see any rust yet. I don't know if that brown stuff is just slag that's built up. We'll have to keep our eye on it. Okay, we'll have to see how that does. Might work, it might not. But it hasn't really precipitated. So let's see if this stop here works. Yep. Stop seems to hold it. Well, there's the ashes from all those boxes. That's pretty good. I'm not unhappy with that. Let's drop this. Okay. Let's see what's underneath here. Well, there's some ashes that fell down. Crazy. Yes. I could bring a rake out and kind of use the back side of the rake, the flat side, and just move it around so that'll all settle. Okay, so the wind's basically blowing almost directly into the intake. What I'm not seeing is pieces of ash. Even when it kind of gusts, it's not blowing a lot here. Okay, it's just not blowing a lot. The weather app says about 10 miles an hour. It's probably blowing like 5 miles an hour right now. So it's cool. There's nothing solid coming out of that. Nothing chunky. Nothing that would make me go, oh, I hope that doesn't land on anything dry, because it is kind of dry right now. And I think it's doing its job. I would like to see less of that, but I guess I'm not really super concerned about that. I guess I could weld a little thin piece along that edge that as the door closes it would bind against it, but I don't know. I don't think I'm too worried about it. That tiny gap shouldn't let a big chunk of ash out, but I guess that would be my biggest concern of it leaking around the door. So, yeah, but even with this breeze, it's making the trees move around a little bit. It's still, and the smoke's whipping out of there, but it's still nothing big coming out. I was going to wait for a day that would be less windy, but with this breeze and the air rushing in right here, stirring everything up, and nothing chunky coming out there, no sparks, no embers, not even any black, nothing. So that makes me feel really good. I think mission accomplished. We'll come back later and check on this and see how complete the burn was, because this is pretty full of cardboard and paper trash from pretty much end to end. So we'll come back later and check on it. Okay, good. So it's been 2.5 hours. It burned. I had smoke coming out for about 1.5 hours. So it's been an hour that I haven't had any smoke out. So I thought I'd come out here. We're going to shut this just to keep. Of course, the wind was blowing from the west into this right here, so that accelerates the fire and makes it burn faster. So I think if the wind was blowing another direction, maybe it might burn slower. I don't know. But we're just going to close that, so when I open this, we won't have air going in right there. And I can still feel the heat coming off here. It's still warm. And this handle's nice and cool, though. All right, we'll stand back here, and you know, there's a kind of a thick layer of ash here. It's not okay. So I'm going to bring the concrete rake out, or the rock rake, turn it upside down, and then drag it around here and just knock all these ashes down underneath before we start throwing more stuff on here. That way, when the air comes up underneath here, when we start another fire, it won't have anything blocking it, or at least it won't have an ash layer blocking it. It'll still burn, of course. Oops, look, there's a box it didn't burn. Didn't quite get those. Maybe we'll get it next time. Okay, good. I'm pretty happy. This is only the second burn in a month. So, yeah, we can put a lot of paper trash in that in a month, and if we burn once a month or even once every couple weeks, I guess not that big of a deal if it only burns for an hour, hour and a half. Pretty excited looking around here. You know, the bushes are all intact. Didn't start a fire. Didn't have to call the fire department because, yeah, you don't want to be that guy. So I just wanted to see what this is going to work like. This is full of... I was hoping this would work where I could rake upside down. Better. So now, I was just worried the layer of ash was so thick in the bottom there. You know, that would be. That would limit the air coming up through.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I just want to do that before I put more trash in here. So there's a bit of a layer down there. Yeah. That is. Shouldn't be very bad. But maybe I'll get a few birds out of it before I have to clean the ashes out.
This is the third one?
The second.
Oh, second.
And the first one wasn't even a real good burn because I didn't have much in here.
Good. Got a bunch of used motor oil.
Yeah, that'd be good accelerant. What was that thing called? What pot?
Smudge pot.
Smudge pot?
Yeah.
That would melt. That'd probably melt this thing pretty quick.
Nah, that'll be fine.
So next I got to decide, am I going to put a, see it hasn't rusted here yet, where you phosphor cast it. It's turned a little bit brown. I guess there's a couple places that look kind of brownish, and I don't know if that's the slag.
Have you measured the temp on the outside when it's burning?
I did. And this was 500 something, I think.
Oh.
On the top. And this was hot. Of course, it cooled down as it went up. But
right. Yeah, my wood stove is like 500. Well, in the part way up the pipe. But
this is all from the phosphoric acid running down.
the top of my wood stove has a cover over it, so I can't have access to it.
So it's 500 below the miracle heat?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so the wind would, was kind of blowing, and it would gust sometimes, and it would change direction, but I never saw any ashes come out, or never saw any sparks or cinders come out. So, and I thought, well, I should wait till it's not windy, and then I thought, well, this is a good test because it's breezy. It's not windy, but it's breezy, and that's really what I'm worried about. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, with the wind coming out of that direction, that should help it because this is where your air intake is right here.
Yeah. So I did have a lot of smoke yesterday coming out right here. You can see where it's all black.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to figure out how I could maybe weld a thin piece of metal on the inside to help cover that gap, or
yeah, that would work.
Or maybe just weld something right to the edge there, because it looks like it kind of pulls away when I lift it like that. Look at the hinges. All that plastic's all melted out.
Oh.
It's gone. And maybe it had a tighter fit when that plastic was in there.